All right, let's see. You are on the mic there. Here we go. Wilder Show podcast. I'm Scott. That's Lauren.
Hello.
How are you, Lauren, today?
I'm great. How are you?
Let's see. Last time I said spectacular. Phenomenal. I am phenomenal today.
You know, there's something that I was going to talk about today that I decided not to, and you just put we didn't even talk about this off the air, and this was like you put a little spotlight on it. This week was the anniversary of Roget's Thesaurus. I took that out of my notes because I thought, I don't think we're going to talk about that. I'd have to look it up to see exactly when it was first published. But the interesting thing about it was that once it has never been out of print since it was first published.
Yeah, it's the Bible of synonyms.
There you were using those synonyms. You didn't even have the book open.
That's fun. Instagram, you'll find us Wilder Show there, Wilder Show Pod. If you want to send us email to podcast@wildershow.com. The Wilder Show podcast drops Tuesdays and Fridays, 6 a.m. Central Time or before on Spotify, Apple Podcast, iHeart, Amazon, YouTube, also on the TikTok now and again. Wherever you get your podcast, would you just right now give a little thumbs up, give a like, even right now? In fact, do it right now because you never know if you will like it at the end.
Give us the benefit of the doubt.
You can take it away later if you need to. But wherever you get your podcast, you'll find us there. And like, rate, follow, subscribe, and share. And we appreciate that. We'll get to the war talk in a second. I think we're going back this weekend. I do.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, I won't even be able to watch the Kentucky Derby, the most exciting 2 minutes in sport.
Yeah.
But I think this weekend probably. After the markets close today, I think the president's gearing up again. I think. We'll talk about it in a second. I was going to bring something in today. There is a retro thing going on in the grocery store right now.
What's that?
Now, the reason I didn't do it is because I know I'd be wasting about $15. I was going to buy a box of something for me and a box of something for you. And then, but I knew we would never eat it.
Was it ultra processed?
Totally. when you think of maybe the most ultra processed food that is in a box, what do you think of?
Twinkies.
No, in a box. It's a whole aisle. They have this stuff there, ultra processed. We have great memories as kids of this.
No. I don't know.
Cereal.
Oh.
Cereal.
Oh, Lucky Charms.
But I mean, any of the cereals.
Well, yeah.
All the cereals are ultra processed, right?
Yeah.
Don't we know that? Yeah.
Sure.
And they have a whole aisle. They've changed the name to ultra processed.
No, they have not.
But I was going to buy you a box of Kellogg's and me a box of Kellogg's. For me, I would probably, if I was going to eat a sugary cereal, I probably would go with, what's the one with the tiger on it? Tony Tiger?
Frosted Flakes.
Yeah, Frosted Flakes. They stay crispy. They never get soggy, ever. I liked those as a kid, but all that sweet stuff. I can't take that sweet stuff anymore.
He's got a thing with soggy.
I do have soggy is my nemesis. Soggy and eating cold food that is meant to be eaten hot. Yeah.
I would go with Lucky Charms for sure.
Ooh, one of the kids when they were little, I won't name him, but his L's were Y's for a long time. So for him, they were Yucky Charms. But I was going to get you a box and me a box, but they're so expensive. I mean, cereal is unbelievably expensive. It's crazy how much you pay for cereal. But guess what?
What?
It's a limited time thing. They are putting toys back in Kellogg's cereal.
Really?
And it has to do with Toy Story.
Oh my gosh!
So little collectible toys in the cereal box. We've talked before about those old days where on Post you had the Jackson 5 and
the records,
the records on the back in cardboard. You cut them out, and you had Bobby Sherman, and you had the Jackson 5, and had the Osmonds and these different ones, but also just the toys we used to get in cereal.
Little cars.
Just great stuff. I mean, I loved all that day. I remember when the boys were little, It was leading up to one Olympics, and I can't remember which one it was. But even in those days, well before everything was on the internet and everybody had email and whatever, you sign up and buy stuff online, the world was still in the day where you collected box tops.
Mm-hmm.
So this one had to do with Pop-Tarts.
Yeah.
Speaking of ultra processed,
I think so good.
I think in those days they weren't ultra processed. No, they were.
We just didn't care as much.
That's right. Don't tell me that stuff. I don't want to know that stuff. Anyway, so we, over the weeks, we would get those proofs of purchase, and we mailed them off to whoever makes Pop-Tarts, and we each got back a winter cap that had the Olympics, but it was made. Those days, they're not just gone; they're foreign to anybody today.
Sure.
Anyway, so I was gonna get you a toy. Mm-hmm. They sell toys in boxes that also include some cereal. And I was going to get you some, but I didn't because it's a waste of money, and I hate to waste food too. So,
well, pretty soon, I bet they'll be hard to. They're going to fly off the shelves.
I think so.
I'm sure for Toy Story. We just talked about this yesterday. The changes to Toy Story 5 is coming out this summer, and I've seen the trailer for it. But I had not seen the trailer that included this particular shot of apparently Woody's bald head.
Yes.
From a little rear view of his head when the hat comes off. Yeah. And it was being described by Tom Hanks, the voice of Woody himself. Yeah. And he said, it's a character that it's a doll that's had, the plastic hat taken off and put on and taken off and put on, and that it wore off the paint on the back of his head in the same way that a man of that age might start to lose his hair back there. Funny. And then he also went on to talk though about how Woody's body has changed.
Oh, he's a little and he said, well, dad bod or whatever.
Yes, because he said, his body is stuffed. It's made of cloth and stuffing, and stuffing moves around over time. As
we found out in real life, stuffing moves around over time.
Yeah,
that's funny. Yeah, he's a little. Woody has a little male pattern baldness. Mm-hmm. All right, well, that little light stuff before we get to the other stuff. There's also a weird statistical thing that I want to talk about if we have time.
Okay,
statistics can be used to make several points. Mm-hmm. You can read a report and conclude one thing, but then you go, wait, but maybe it's actually the other thing. So we'll take a look at that. Yeah, I think we're going to go back to war. I think sometime this weekend. I don't want to go back to war. I don't want to. But the president, he's sort of in trouble here because how do you get out of this? I mean, just yesterday, the leadership in Iran says, we're not going to give up on the nuclear stuff. So we're not going to do that. So we're not going to get the nuclear stuff done. We're not going to get regime change. That's not going to happen. How many times have we been told regime change? Well, there's been a regime change. There's not been a regime change. So we're not going to get that. We're not going to get the nuclear thing done. And so what is it we did get? We sunk a bunch of ships, damaged a lot of the infrastructure. But the Strait of Hormuz is closed. They control it. Mm-hmm. So is success now, okay, open the strait?
Just getting back to status quo?
Not even status quo. It's actually worse than it was before. Right. They can open the strait, which I think they will. They'll open the strait, but they're going to charge. Mm-hmm. They're going to anyway. We'll dive into it. But one quick thing, isn't it weird? We're now less than a week from a time when the sitting president of the United States, there was a third assassination attempt. That's all we were talking about on Sunday was what happened on Saturday. But then on Monday, off to something else. On Tuesday, welcome the king.
Right.
And move right on. Isn't that odd?
Yeah.
I thought that was in the olden times, if people attempted to assassinate a president, that would be a big news story for longer than 24 hours. Mm-hmm. But it's not. And I don't get it. It's one other thing about the king. I could not care. Look, great respect to all people who love all things royal. I don't get it. I got to tell you, I do not get it. I don't get what the deal is about the royals. But it was funny to see a bunch of Democrats who made a huge deal of no kings give a standing ovation to a king giving a speech to a joint session of Congress. So when we talk about the war and the president, I just want to run down a couple of things. The importance of the president being believed. We talk about that. Therefore, the importance of the United States being believed by our allies, by our enemies. And I'm talking about the threats that turn out to mean nothing. And again, I'm glad we're not at war, but just don't threaten and then do nothing. Idle threats weaken the United States. So we talk about that. This is what I mean. Take the deadlines for a second. Never-ending delays, rolling deadlines. Go back to the week before Easter. The week before Easter, 48 hours or else we'll attack. We'll attack the energy, infrastructure, the bridges, all the power. Then 48 hours are up. We're going to extend it for 5 days with no consequence. Then we're going to extend it for 10 days. And then we're going to extend it another 24 hours. And then a 2-week ceasefire, right?
Right.
And then after that, after the 2-week ceasefire is over, now it's extended indefinitely. So going back to before Easter to this day, all of those various deadlines, and if you don't, then we're going to meant nothing. Meant nothing. It's supposed to be peace through strength, not peace through empty threats. And all this does is train everyone, our enemies and our allies, to not believe us.
It's one of the first lessons of parenting. You know, whether you are a parent or you were parented, this affects you in one way or another. You know these lessons. You've learned these lessons.
Don't make idle threats. The only thing that has changed is that the strait was closed at the first deadline, and it remains closed today. And we're now viewing success as opening the strait and maybe even letting them take tolls, which they have never done before. And then Iran might sit down and talk about nukes. It's an open-ended ceasefire. Another change, I guess, is that we are now putting our own blockade, in a part of the world where it had never been by our military. Not that it has been that consequential. I mean, we're doing the same thing to Iran that Iran is doing to us. And one more change is that we have expended munitions and have lost American lives in this, what Trump calls an excursion. But you got to explain to me how this is progress. Meanwhile, the president is getting ready to focus his Lord of the Rings, eye in the sky, onto Cuba at a time when China is eyeing Taiwan, which is exactly what we should be doing. That's where we should be giving our attention. So what do we get out of all this? What we're doing is keeping this going and hoping that we can wait them out. Think about the drag race from Rebel Without a Cause. You saw the movie?
I never did see it.
Oh, Lauren.
No, but I have a vivid memory of watching. Wait, is it Natalie Wood?
Mm-hmm.
That I can see the flags.
Yeah, she drops the flags
Yeah.
for the race. So that is the chicken run. They call it chicken run.
Mm-hmm.
And they're playing chicken. Who's going to break or bail first? Either break to stop from going over the cliff or bail out of the car to get out. And whoever gets out first is chicken.
Yeah.
So who's it going to be? We're James Dean in the movie. And we don't want to die because, we have Natalie Wood waiting for us. Mm-hmm. And in the other car is Buzz. He's the gang leader. Mm-hmm. He's the one that challenged us to a chicken run. Actually, in this case, we're challenging them to a chicken run. But anyway, unlike the movie where Buzz doesn't really want to go over the cliff, he just gets his leather jacket caught in the door handle.
Ooh.
Yeah.
It's rough.
It was pretty tough. In our case...
I guess I don't have to watch it now.
In our case, sorry to ruin it for you, it's a 70-year-old movie. Actually, 71. I think it was 1955.
Wow.
71 years ago. Remember, all they have to do to win is wait us out.
Yeah.
We have to win to win. They only have to not lose to win. And we're back to playing chicken and who's going to blink. So back to the threats. Threats are only valuable as a negotiating tactic if they are what? If they are credible, if they're believed.
Sure.
Once you are no longer believed, when you threaten, the only thing left to do is go back to war. Believing that they can outlast us. They are more comfortable with pain than we are. Look at the gas prices. Gone up 30 cents in the last week. And it's not going anywhere but up. The other thing that the Iranians don't have, they don't have midterms.
Right.
They have nothing like that it's looming out there. The President Trump has that. So he's got to get it. Something has to resolve here. Plus, we're dying to go to war with Cuba. So he's got to find the next shiny thing that he wants to do. So the only thing left is to have a big bombing, hopefully not men on the ground. That's would be a huge mistake and take a long time to extract them. So it's going to be a big dropping of bombs, maybe as early as this weekend or the next week or so, and then call everyone home, declare victory, and tell the rest of the world, you guys have to deal with what we created. The taking of tolls at 130 vessels a day, $500 million every 2 days, $2.5 billion a week going to Iran. We leave the world to clean that up. That's what I think is probably out in front of us. And survey after survey, in fact, one just yesterday, how unpopular is the war? It is more unpopular than the war in Vietnam. Pretty low. Yeah. Statistically speaking, just something about statistics. Always been interested in statistics. In fact, I had my one speed bump in all of college, grade-wise, was a baby math class. I don't know what was going on with me. I think it was the same semester that they'd released the Rubik's Cube. So I had some distraction, but I didn't do well.
I also did not do well in baby math.
But the next one I took was a statistics class. It was supposed to be really hard. Mm-hmm. I did very well. Something about the application of it, the studying of it, not just the elements and the things, and this is the way you do this thing. But what does that mean? Mm-hmm. I think it was the application of it that I found very interesting. Mm-hmm. And because it was interesting, plus I'd already solved the Rubik's Cube. It was the next semester. Anyway.
You just applied yourself in a different way.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Statistics. You may have heard this headline in your church, a Barna research group survey. Young adults lead a resurgence in church attendance, with Gen Z and millennials attending more frequently than they did during the pandemic. Have you heard anything like that at your church?
No, I've not.
A lot of churches have really sold this. Hey, the young people, how long has it been? I'm 64. How long has it been we've heard, this next generation, this is going to be the generation that blah, blah, blah. And, then we say it again 20 years later and 20 years later and 20 years later. Here we are 20 years later. On top of all that, we're saying it again. Anyway, in November, Gallup reported this: drop in U.S. religiosity among the largest in the world, with the percentage of Americans who say religion is important to their daily life falling 17 points over the last decade, from 66% in 2015 to 49% today. So which is it? Christianity in America experiencing a resurgence or a collapse? And here's where it gets really interesting, I think. Both are true. When you talk about the millennials, and you can dive into this if you want to, I'm not going to get too deep down the rabbit hole on it, but when you dig into the Barna research, you find that the people that they're talking about are the people that are already inside church. Mm-hmm. So you look at the people that are in church and you say, how do they break down? This many are boomers, this many are this, this many are this, this many are this. But that doesn't take into account that percentage that is a mix of the people that are going to church. Let me say it a totally different way. Let's say you have a grocery store. You look at the people that are in the grocery store and you say, hey, you know what? We have 21% of the people in this grocery store that are Gen Z.
Okay.
But you're not comparing the people that are outside the grocery store. And what percentage? It's 21% of the people in the grocery store. Mm-hmm. Let's say there are 100 people in a grocery store. Yeah. 21 of them are Gen Z. Mm-hmm. And you say, wow, we have more Gen Z. There's a resurgence of Gen Z people that come to the grocery store. But if you look out at the total number of Gen Z and you say, yeah, but the 21 that are in there, what did it used to be that would come in?
Yeah.
Did it used to be 40%, 41%? And that is the case. So it's a misleading statistic.
So it just means that our churches are made up of that many more young people. It doesn't mean of the young people, this many more of them are going to church.
That's correct. Which is not bad news, but the grocery store example, if you have 100 people in the grocery store, and it used to be that 58 of those people were 65 and up.
Mm-hmm.
And you still have 100 people in there, but some of those 65 and up, are no longer around. And so of the 100, it's spaced out differently. You have more people, but the real question is not what is the percentage of people in a church that are young. The question is what percentage of young people
are actually going to church.
That's right, are flocking to church. The point of the survey should be, what is the makeup of our churches? That really was what that particular Barna research answered. The question that it answered was, what is the current makeup of our churches? And, our churches are younger based on that information. But to conclude that means there is a resurgence of young people that are going to church, it's not apples and apples. You can't conclude that.
Mm-hmm.
You can just say that the makeup has changed. It could change because of the death or the passing on or the moving on of people of other age groups. But if you look at millennials at the same age that we're talking about Gen Zers now, or baby boomers in ago times at that same age, were those numbers higher? The answer is yes. It's difficult to ever do apples and apples. I mean, time alone means that you can't really do apples and apples. But when you look back at millennials that were not so long ago that same age, what was the percentage of millennials that were going to church? So not the makeup of a particular church, but of millennials, what was the percentage that were going to church? That number was higher than it is today. So while it might be true that the percentage inside a church already going to church is a higher percentage than we would expect, it doesn't mean that represents the percentage outside the whole group that are going to church.
Sure.
And one more thing, I never really commented on the ballroom thing. You hear a lot of people say right after the shooting, this is why we need a ballroom.
Oh, yeah.
The one thing that I know it's raining on the parade of so many people talking about the ballroom. This is why we need a ballroom. I mean, the president said that on Saturday night. He said, if we have the big, beautiful ballroom, this would never happen. All the bullets would bounce off all the gold or whatever. But the truth is, the White House Correspondents Association is a private organization. A private organization cannot rent out the White House ballroom. Just like you couldn't say, I want to have my wedding in the White House ballroom. Can you get me with this scheduler?
Well, are we sure that under this administration it won't be available for rent?
Boy, that is a great point. Oh, it is a time for Scattershoot.
Let's go.
Wilder Show Scattershoot. All right.
All the talk that we've been doing about ultra-processed foods.
Yeah.
I do want to say thank you to everyone for sharing their pictures of their meals made up of all fresh ingredients and no ultra-processed foods. It's really just one picture I've gotten, and it's from somebody who's related to me. But I appreciate it. I appreciate it nonetheless. And if anybody else would like to send their recipes and their pictures of their meals, podcast@wildershow.com. We're waiting, always waiting.
We'll put them right beside my Frosted Flakes box.
Yeah, you got to buy the Frosted Flakes first.
Yeah.
Are you truly happy? Are you truly happy?
How much time you got?
Starting heavy here.
Yeah, it's kind of heavy. Happiness.
Happy.
I
think I'm truly happy.
Can I answer in a more complicated way?
Sure.
As always. I think happiness is fleeting. I think happiness is, in some cases, overrated. I think happiness is temporal. I am content.
Yeah.
Which I think is a little more lasting. But happy, because sometimes I'm happy. I mean, we started this thing with me saying I was something spectacular or whatever.
I don't even remember what it was. It
Tremendous,
was all those minutes
spectacular.
ago. Tremendous,
something from the thesaurus.
Yeah.
Happy anniversary, birthday to the thesaurus.
To Roger and his thesaurus.
It's my favorite dinosaur is the thesaurus. Thesaurus Rex.
It is kind of a dinosaur.
But happiness, am I happy? Sure, I think so. I mean, I think so. I mean, I'm not a Yes. Short answer is, and we'll edit all this
Okay.
extraneous stuff out. You know that I won't.
Yeah, I know you
but
won't.
yeah, I think yes. Yes, I am happy. Here you go.
I'm going to ask you another question that
Okay.
you don't have to answer, but you can ponder.
Yeah, okay.
Think about it. Folks at home, think about it. Is there an age? You already mentioned in this podcast that you're 64 years old.
Yes.
Is there an age in your life that you could pinpoint as saying, that's when I was happiest?
Okay, I'm going to answer this way.
Okay.
When Caroline was born, to announce that my parents would have their first grandchild, we bought my mom and dad books. They're real popular now, but 33 years ago, less so. A book to write in their own memories.
Oh, yeah.
Like a grandparent's book. I think it was called Grandparents' Book. And my dad was not really a person to sit and write those kinds of things. He was pretty stoic, and he did fill out a couple of things.
Okay.
One of the things was about the allowance. What kind of allowance did you get when you were a kid?
Yeah.
The chores that you did, how much did you get paid? My dad answered, "Are you kidding?" That's really what he wrote.
I believe it. Yeah.
This is a guy who
not because I knew your dad that well, but because I think that's probably not, maybe not everyone would have answered that way, but I can, people of that generation,
different day.
You did what you had to do to get the family by, and you weren't waiting for your $1 or $5 or $10, at the end of the week to go spend on whatever you wanted.
And in those days, if you had a paper route, which my dad did, that was not to go to the movies and buy bubble gum, and that was to contribute to the family.
Sure.
So his answer was, "Are you kidding?"
Yeah.
One of the other questions that he answered speaks to what we're talking about right here. And he wrote, I think the question was, what's the most favorite time of your life? And he wrote, it gets me almost weepy to say it. He wrote, when the kids were little.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And I remember thinking, wow, that's something. So he didn't write very many things. But so I would say my answer would probably be something like that, which would put me in my 40s, probably between 41, maybe 40 to somewhere in there, 40s, probably early to mid 40s.
You're right on target, but only if you're a Brit. If you're a Brit, survey says 47 years old.
Okay.
Is the happiest
That's interesting.
age for several reasons. Brits in their 40s feel like they have reached their peak health and happiness.
Okay. Most productive perhaps also, maybe.
They feel, you know what? It doesn't even really mention their productivity, but it talks about they're taking better care of themselves.
Okay.
They've figured out how to eat better. Most of them say they're drinking less, spending less time out, more time in, taking care of themselves, paying attention to the things that matter. Also, they talk about the having better boundaries. And having learned that you can what you can say no to, and how to sort of form the life that will help you find your peak happiness.
Yeah, there is something to be said, and I'm not sure I completely conquered it by 40 years old. Certainly by the 50s. There is sort of a confidence. It's not a cockiness. Maybe it's more of a comfortability. You don't feel the need to prove yourself to other people.
Yeah.
It's okay if other people are successful. You're not threatened by the things that they have.
Yeah.
You're not threatened. You didn't answer the question though. Well, what is your age that you would say? You already knew the answer, at least for us Brits. But what about you in America?
I think it's really hard to look back over my life, and because the lenses that I look back at things now are so different.
Yeah.
There are things, periods of time that at the time I remember thinking, I am never going to get through this, whatever it was. And now if somebody asks me to, tell about a certain time, I can't remember what year that was.
That's funny.
And I think that's just with the passage of time. And, I think about it if you look at your life as one long line,
Your linear, the timeline of your life.
the peaks and valleys, it all sort of stretches out. I think at least for me, I feel right now. You mentioned kids being little. That was a very sweet time.
Yeah, it was.
Very sweet time, regardless of I think in that time there were so many things. At least for me, so many things to worry about, just worrying about their safety and their health and school and their friends and their little delicate psyches and all of that. And now, when I look back at it, I don't dwell on those things as much. I do remember that being a very sweet and happy time, but I don't think that I am at least as happy now as I've ever been in my life. And I think that contentment probably, might actually be a better word, being content in all circumstances.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
I do think that what we would call happiness in our late 50s and 60s, it includes that thing of contentment. I think when we're younger, we're looking for the things that make us happy.
Yeah. Yeah.
It is more of an external thing that created the environment for happiness to live. And now it's like, happiness is sort of an on the outside thing, and contentment is sort of an on the inside thing. Now, you can be content and very unhappy. You can be content.
You think so?
I think so.
You can be content and unhappy.
I think so. I don't think contentment is happiness. I think you can be happy and not be content. A lot of it, you're chasing things. You're happiness now, but I need more. Happiness now, but I need more. It's the next thing. It's the next thing. I'm happy, but I'm not content. This is good, but more is better, and then I'll be happy at that level. So contentment, I think, is just a deeper water. When most people are young, I don't think contentment factors in. I think they use the word happy. Are you happy? I'm happy. This makes me happy.
I think youth, too, maybe even almost by definition, is a time of striving. You're kind of looking for that next thing. When will I find my partner? When will I find my husband
job,
or
place,
my wife?
whatever,
the job, kids. You're always like, where will we wind up? You're always kind of waiting for that next thing, or if not waiting for the next thing, you're anticipating that next thing.
Yeah.
Even if you're content where you are, you're feeling like there is something else. Just
beyond reach,
just beyond, that I'm working towards. And I think maybe by the time we've gotten to our age, maybe that's not quite the case anymore.
So for me and the Brits, that number was 47. I'm in the range, but they say 47. That's interesting.
So like I said, that's you and the British. For the rest of us here in America, that is not the case. Midlife is getting harder in the United States, while it gets easier almost everywhere else. So U.S. adults in midlife, and they categorize, or they define midlife by 40 to 65. The ages of 40 to 65. In America, getting tougher, as well as Mediterranean Europe. Similar declines in Mediterranean Europe.
So Greece.
Yes, but Northern Europe looking pretty good. Other places around the world, this is it's mostly just us, though. It's based on U.S. adults in midlife reporting more loneliness, symptoms of depression, worsening memory, and grip strength, of all things. I don't know how grip strength figures in.
Doing jars
to
or
that.
whatever? Or,
I guess so.
That's it. Well, maybe that's like, there's physical.
Yeah.
Maybe that was the question that relates to their physical ability.
I do think grip strength is an indicator of other physical other physical things,
challenges.
Other physical challenges, maladies, things like that. Yeah.
I have in my days today, I don't have a problem anymore handing off a brand new jar of red plum jam to one of my boys and say, "Would you open this?"
Just let them do it.
It's like in the olden times. No, I am not going to let this thing beat me. Now it's like I just want jam.
Yeah.
Just give it to one of the boys. That's fine.
Yeah, grip strength is a widely used marker of overall physical
There you go.
condition.
There you go.
Yeah. Well, you might ask why. You might ask why we're having these difficult times in our mid years. Financial things,
Sure.
access to affordable health care, medication.
Yeah.
Tougher for us here in America. Family help and services. Those kinds of things strain budgets, contribute to higher household debt, which means that some people skip healthcare altogether. We move more. We relocate more. I don't mean we move our bodies. Yeah, we move more. We have higher rates of residential mobility than other countries. So that's kind of a bummer for several reasons. It means it gets harder to build community as you get older. Yeah. So if you're dropping yourself into a new city, harder to make friends, which contributes to the loneliness problem, but also it's harder to care for your aging parents if you're far away from them. If you're trying to manage that from a location that is far away, that makes it even more difficult.
It's harder to do that by text.
It is harder to do that by text.
That's that's interesting.
Yeah.
As you might imagine, I've never been a big neighborhood guy, like meeting all the other neighbor dads and hanging outside and, I just mow the yard, wave to people, really nice, very nice. Yeah, for the most part, I had headphones on and just, but no problem for people to do. A lot of people do that. Most people do that. Most people know the names of their neighbors. They give them homemade bread and stuff. My wave is not equal to sourdough bread, but
wait, your what?
Wave. When I wave to people, it's not equal to a loaf of sourdough bread, but I mean it in the same way. I mean it as warm.
Do you think this is true for you? Or do you feel like you're suffering more from those things?
No.
Loneliness, I think, depressive symptoms, grip strength. What's the other thing?
Plenty. You don't need to give me more.
Worsening memory. Yeah. I had to look back at the notes.
Yeah. No, I think part of it is, if you feel bad about it, if you cared about it initially. In other words, if you were a person who, really wanted or needed, no judgment, but if part of the way you are, you need or you like that connectedness where you talk to your neighbors all the time and you chat about things and whatever, and then if you're a transient or they're transient, they move away or you move away, and you are, for those people that are like that, you are looking for, I've been here for 6 months and I don't really know very many people. See, for me, that's not on my list.
You know what I think too, though, might make it different for people who are people of faith. If you move to a new
That's
place,
right.
Doesn't matter what age you are. If the first thing you look for is a church and a faith community, that's going to be something that's going to be instrumental.
Let me say that would be if I moved to Austin, I would want to find that's sort of my outlet for community. Yeah. But even then, I'm not, the dinners on Wednesday and all that. I just. That's just not me personally.
That's okay.
But I don't like.
You're not a joiner.
I was going to say I don't like people, but that's not really true. I'm not big on groups. Yeah. I'm not big on being in a group
or being new to a group. You like to be in a group of people
but that group is real small. Yeah. As you know.
I do.
Reminder, we've worked together for 40 years.
A long time. It is almost 40 years.
Sorry, Lauren.
That's okay. I'm doing okay. Did you ever do the thing when you were a kid where you tried to figure out how many licks it took to get to the center of a Tootsie Pop?
I always liked that ad. Yeah. I saw a resurgence of that ad the other day.
Mr. Owl?
Yeah, the owl trying to find how many, and he does 3, and then
he says 3.
3 because he bites into it.
There have been at least 3 dedicated studies to find out how many licks it takes to get to the center of that Tootsie Pop.
The thing is, though, yeah, I can, but there's so many factors that would impact that. I would guess the power of one lick. Yeah. I would say 112.
364.
Really? Yeah. One for every day of the year.
That's a lot of licks.
That's interesting. I had your favorite flavor. I can guess what yours is. I know what yours is.
What is it?
Yours is probably cherry.
The red one.
Yeah, the red one. Yeah. With all the red dye number 40. Yeah. Mine, what do you think mine is?
Brown.
No. Is it a chocolate flavor?
Yeah.
No.
No.
No, blue. Grape.
Yeah.
Grape
yeah.
is probably my favorite, or orange.
Never liked the orange ones.
Really? See that? I've noticed that about you. So you could get the cherry ones, and I would get the orange one. That's okay.
I mean, if orange was offered and that was all that was offered, I would never say no.
That's right.
But it wouldn't be my first choice.
That's right.
Yeah, red all day long.
All day long.
There are some other unanswered questions about Tootsie Rolls, which is obviously...
Tootsie Rolls or the Tootsie Pops?
Well, the Tootsie Roll is what's inside the Tootsie Pop, right? The question was, how many licks does it take to get to the center of the Tootsie Pop? And in the middle was the Tootsie Roll. One of those questions is, am I eating candy that contains part of the original Tootsie Roll batch from 1896? Seriously. That is actually a question.
How could that even be?
Well, listen, okay, so Tootsie Rolls are made by melting down and mixing together all of the ingredients that are on the label, which is the sugar, corn syrup, condensed skim milk, and cocoa. But that's not all. The candy makers also apparently add in a generous amount of the batch that was made the day before.
Oh, I see.
So if a big portion of the candy is actually the batch from the previous day, and that's done every single day, then isn't there a chance that the original ingredients from the 1800s are still being incorporated into the candy today? If you think about it like a sourdough starter, you know, you discard part of your starter, feed the remaining starter with fresh ingredients to keep it alive. There are sourdough starters that have lived for hundreds of years. On an archived version of Tootsie's website, the company actually addressed these rumors.
Funny.
And according to the website, Leo Hirschfeld, who is an Austrian immigrant who created the Tootsie Roll recipe in 1896, he is the one who actually required the incorporation of the previous day's batch into the new one. It was referred to as a graining process that Tootsie continues to this day.
Crazy.
And the brand even said at the time, theoretically, a bit of Leo's very first Tootsie Roll could be in every one of the 64 million Tootsie Rolls that Tootsie produces every day.
It's sick. I love that.
It is a little sick, but
do you remember?
It's kind of cool.
Do you remember the Tootsie Pop drops?
I do.
Yeah, those are kind of good. I think they did away with those. They were choking hazards, I think. They're pretty small. Pretty small.
Yeah.
But I liked those. I liked I'm not a very, I don't like sweets very much, but I liked that. There was something about the Tootsie Roll that was good with the candy. It was a good flavor.
They're hard on your teeth.
Yeah, I don't like stuff like that so much anymore. But they taste good. They would taste good. Not a big fan of the flavored Tootsie Rolls. You know, they have the vanilla and the strawberry. And yeah. Not a big fan of those. If I wanted those, I would go to Now or Later's.
Yeah,
or things like that. Those or Laffy Taffy. If I wanted the flavors, for me, it's just the original Tootsie Roll flavor, chocolate or whatever that is. Yeah, I like the midget ones. I think
I haven't had a Tootsie Roll in a long time.
Neither. Tomorrow is the Kentucky Derby, and it's fun. I always enjoy watching the Kentucky Derby. Hopefully, the war won't interrupt the coverage of the most exciting 2 minutes in sport. And down the stretch they come. Always loved hearing that.
That's pretty fun.
As a kid, watching it on ABC's Wide World of Sports. I'm looking at the horses. And Bob Baffert, you cannot get rid of that guy. It's going to be Potentate is 20-1.
Renegade is the favorite.
Renegade is 4-1. Yeah. Renegade is 4-1. Intrepido 50-1.
Yep.
Let's see. I do like watching it. It's so weird. It takes forever. All the hats. 6-Speed is also 50-1. Great White is 50-1. What a bunch of 50-1. And this is really, it'll be Chief Wallaby, the Puma. Full Effort is 20-1. Potentate, that's Bob Baffert's, or as one of his. Potentate is 20-1. But probably it'll be Commandment or Renegade.
And you said it's on NBC?
Well, if Johnny Weir is on, it's got to be on NBC. And let's see what else. Tomorrow it's usually, post time is 5:57. So it's right at 6 o'clock. And what I do like about it is as soon as that last horse gets in is the gate, Bang.
Immediately.
I mean, immediately. Because some of those horses have been in there, for minutes, for a long time. They get kind of fidgety. Anyway, so coverage begins tomorrow at 1:30 and concludes at 6:30.
It's a lot of lead time.
That's a long time.
It's a lot of hats.
A lot of hats. Let's go down to the paddocks. Hey, fella, how you doing? Talking to the horse. Little horse trivia.
Uh-huh.
You'll never have a horse that can win more than one Triple Crown. Never. Because in this race, and I don't believe it's true for the Preakness and the Belmont, those three make up the Triple Crown.
Okay.
A horse that wins all three of those is a Triple Crown winner, winning the crown for each of these. But in this race, every horse, could be male or female, but every horse is only a 3-year-old.
Right.
So the previous year they could not be, the next year they could not be. So there's only one chance for any horse to win the Triple Crown. There would never be one that would repeat. Anyway, it goes on tomorrow, and I'll watch. Hey, one more thing I want to say before we go, and I don't think he'll even hear this, but I want to say a good word about a guy that is such a good guy, and he is retiring. He just retired.
Yeah.
And it's a guy named Kenny Woods. And
I love Kenny.
Kenny Woods is a guy that worked at one of our favorite radio stations in Pittsburgh.
In one of our favorite cities.
And he is such a great guy. Hardworking guy, humble guy. I saw the announcement. I knew last time we were there, he was talking about, because I go early. I'm there early. I bring him breakfast. Every morning I would bring him breakfast.
Yeah.
And so we sit there for a second and chat before we have to go on the radio. Unprompted, he said, "Yeah, I'm sort of thinking about retiring." I said, "No, you can't because everything's about me and I need you here. You're very good at what you do. Nobody can replace you." And we have said so many times to other people good things about him behind his back. But I guess we wish him well, right?
Well, of course we do.
No, of course we do.
Sadly.
It's funny. I wrote on his Facebook page yesterday that it's too bad. First, the Pittsburgh Penguins were beaten in overtime the night before by the dreaded and terrible Philadelphia Flyers, their big nemesis. And then the next day, Kenny retires. A bad 1-2 punch.
Totally.
For Pittsburgh. I did tell him to, bait a hook for the Pens, the Penguins, who now have the rest of the year off, and to learn how to tie the Palomar knot, which is a fishing essential. So happy retirement, Kenny, if you must. And that is the Wilder Show podcast. Instagram, find us there, Wilder Show Pod, and you'll like it and all that. And we appreciate that. If you want to send us email, you can email to podcast@wildershow.com. But really, if you engage on the platform where you get this podcast, that's a really good way to do it. It helps. It makes it more popular for other people to more easily see. So if you catch us on Spotify or Apple Podcast, iHeart, Amazon, YouTube, wherever you get it, thumbs up, big star, 5 stars, subscribe, share, all those things. Wilder Show podcast drops Tuesdays and Fridays, 6 a.m. Central Time or before. So thanks for all the engagement. It really helps, and we appreciate it. And also tell a friend about the Wilder Show podcast. And Lauren, thank you.
You bet.
And we'll see you next time. Da 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 da.